Now, he's got to get there, and he's got to be that guy, and getting him this contract doesn't mean he's going to be the closer right away, but it seems like a relatively safe gamble to take if you're Mike Hazen and the Diamondbacks, that eventually he will be that guy for you. And when he is, you've got him on a really, really nice deal, and you don't have to worry about his price going up.
So 5 years, 18. So you figure the average annual value on that is 3 point something, probably 3.5, right around there on the average annual value. But again, I am being told just a few seconds ago that there are options included. I just don't have those details. I am working on it, but I am hearing there are options included. So it could be 5-year deal for $18 million, and then the Diamondbacks have an option for a 6th and a 7th year. If that's the case, a sensational deal. Now the kid gets some security. The kid, I mean, $18 million. It's life-changing money for a kid like this.
Absolutely.
Life-changing money.
For a 22-year-old kid.
For a 22-year-old kid. And then you figure, okay, if he's still able to get out of this deal by, say, age 28 or 29, he still might be able to strike a really big contract at that age. So I never fault a guy. I've had many players tell me this. Never fault anybody for on their first big contract. Never. Don't ever fault anybody on their first big contract. Second contract, third contract, okay. But you can't, you get an opportunity. Somebody wants to hand you $18 million. It's hard to say no. And you can sit there and say, well, if he just plays it out and he can be a free agent. Man, this kid doesn't want to play this out for 5 or 6 years. He can get $18 million, $3 million, $3 million a year for the next 5 years, $3.5 million a year for the next 5 years.
Especially since, I don't know how many I know you're working to find out how many option years are here, but there's still plenty of opportunity for him to hit free agency and make plenty of money. It's not like this is the last contract he's ever going to make, right? Like, you could look at Ketel Marte's contract and say by the time that thing expires, his earning potential has pretty much completely dried up. There won't be an opportunity for him to make big money when Ketel's contract with the D-backs is done. You cannot say this about this Justin Martinez contract. He will still be in his 5 years. What I said when I said he was 22, he's 23. So by the time this deal expires, even if you tack on another year or two, he's still 29 years of age, 28, 29.
He's pitching this year at 23 years old. You're right. So if it's a 5-year deal, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. If it's 2 option years, it's 29.
Still
he's going to hit free
to
agency before age 30.
Exactly. Still in a position to be able to make more money if he wants, but depending on how many option years there are and the value of those option years, this has the potential to be tremendous value for the Arizona. And if it's sunk costs, I don't want to say $18 million isn't a big deal. $18 million isn't that big of a deal. Relatively speaking. If it doesn't work out, this isn't Corbin Carroll not working out at 111. Right. This isn't Geraldo Perdomo not working out at 45.
It's almost, I don't want to say, I don't want to call it chump change because, again, it's life-changing money and it's not fair to say that is. But it wouldn't hurt the Diamondbacks the way. Yasmani Tomas was a hell. How much did that was like
67, 68 million?
Right. Like that was crazy. That
for Tomas?
6 years, $68.5 million. There
you go. Yeah.
You were right on that. Good job. $68.5 million. That sucked. Yeah, that really sucked.
This doesn't suck like that.
$18 million doesn't suck. Again, 5 years. So, 18 million pending a physical. The deal was agreed to. It was either yesterday or the day before, is what I was just told. The deal was agreed to either yesterday or the day before, but it was pending a physical, so I don't believe that's been announced yet. And I believe there are option years, but I am trying to find out now how many option years there are.
Does this mean he's the closer this year?
Boy, that's a great question. That's a really great question. I don't know.
I thought you were just going to let it hang there.
Torey, is he the closer this year?
Yeah, come on, Torey. Is he the closer? I'll take a stab at it because I was thinking about it when you were talking. I think this means that he has shown them enough in spring where they can say, look, if he's not going to be our closer by the first couple of months of the season, he will be by the All-Star break. He's trending to be that guy. Will they still do a competition? Will they still?
Not necessarily.
In terms of whether he's the closer now?
I actually work while we're doing it. If you watch it on video, sorry, but this does not necessarily mean he's the closer right now.
Okay. But I certainly think it puts him as the leader in the clubhouse, as the guy they want to be the closer.
I think so.
Right? Like, I think that's, and you can add whoever it is you're on the other line with, but I think we can reasonably guess that this is an indicator, while he might not be the closer right now, he is certainly the guy we want to be the closer.
I agree.
We're paying him. We're investing in him. We're showing a belief in him. And look, in a perfect world, I think we could all agree. Justin Martinez as the guy in the ninth. Now it frees up A.J. Puck to do his thing whenever they need him. It frees up Kevin Ginkel and Ryan Thompson to do their thing whenever they need him. It really is the ideal scenario, right? Like, it really, really is.
There was a guy that was once a Diamondback that's had 50 saves over the last 2 years. In 2023, he struck out 84 batters in 62 innings. Last year, he struck out 66 batters in 54 innings, and that's Yohan Duran from the Twins. He was once a Diamondback. They traded him. He didn't throw 100 miles an hour when they traded him. He didn't. He didn't have this stuff, but he was traded as part of the Eduardo Escobar deal. And he's ended up being a sensational pitcher who throws the ball 100-plus miles an hour.
We had
so you lock up J. Mart because he throws 100 miles an hour.
Adrian Del Castillo on the show when we were out at spring training on Wednesday. And off the air, we were just having a conversation with him about guys with nasty stuff around baseball. And he was talking about Skeens, and he was talking about Tarek Skubal. He said on the Diamondbacks, oh, it's Justin Martinez. Said his stuff is just filthy. Just absolutely dirty to catch sometimes. And so you can see why it happened. Okay, so 5 years, $18 million. Gambo's working on the option years. Arbitration years have been bought up, at least a couple of them. Good work, Gambo. Good, interesting news from the Arizona Diamondbacks.
I'll try to get the option years for you to find out if it's 1 or 2, whatever it is.
Well,
but I would expect that there's going to be.
Can you get on it, please? I mean, let's go. We got a radio show we're doing here. Let's go.
We got a closer to name.
Yeah,
come on,
man. Chop, chop. Let's go.
I'm just a slacker.
I'm just teasing. Justin Martinez, a 5-year contract worth $18 million. Gambo ran out of here as soon as he was done with that last segment. He was on the phone with one of his sources. What did you find out?
So here are the details on the Justin Martinez contract. It is a 5-year deal for $18 million with a $2 million signing bonus and $16 million spread out over 5 years. It'll start about $1 million, $1.5 million, and it'll gradually go up. There are 2 club option years available at $7 and $9 million. There are 2 club option years available. Now, here's the interesting thing. This is really good in case he is not the closer, because this helps the Diamondbacks not have to make him the closer. Because when you are going to arbitration, one of the biggest things that helps you is saves. Saves is one of the biggest things that can help you.
Yep.
Now you don't have to worry about that. If he's the 8th inning guy, the 7th inning guy, if he's a guy who's just going to get holds instead of saves, there's no real push for him to feel like I've got to get the closer. I got to get more money. I got to get more money. So it's a 5-year deal. There's a $2 million signing bonus. There's $16 million in salary over the 5 years. There are club option years for $7 million and $9 million. So the total value of the contract could be $34 million. 18 plus 16. So the total value could be $34 million over 7 years. That is the potential that he could make. $34 million over 7 years.
Yeah, to clarify a little bit, not to clarify, but to explain a little further, that the reason why the club options matter and eating up the arbitration years matter, to your point, if he is the closer and he has a whole bunch of saves and you get an arbitration, it's really easy to see your salary get really high real quick, because just people will just look at saves. Arbitrators will look at saves and go, oh, yeah, he's clearly worth a lot more money than what you're paying him. And so by kind of locking up those arbitration years, it almost doesn't matter if he's your closer or not. If he is, you run the benefit of not having to worry about what an arbitrator thinks about how much he should earn. So it's another one of those Mike Hazen kind of deals. And this is what we've talked about this a lot with Mike over the years. All right. This is what the Arizona Diamondbacks have to do. They have to, and he's pretty good at it, like strategically identifying guys and saying, you're going to be a young member of my team for years to come. I want to make sure you're going to be here a while. I'd like to keep you around. Let's give you this contract and make sure he did it with Perdomo. He did it with Corbin Carroll, obviously. He's done it with Justin Martinez. He did it brilliantly with Ketel Marte a few years ago. I mean, that's one of the all-timers, right? Like you look at Ketel Marte's contract, and it's almost obscene how little he's making relative to what he's actually worth in Major League Baseball.
Crazy,
I mean,
right?
it's almost obscene.
He left $100 million on the table, but like it's possible he left as much as $100 million on the table if he would have maximized his value.
Yes.
Maximized that value, probably $100 million. But again, a lot of athletes will tell you, you never turn down your first big deal. You never turn it down. And I've seen guys that have messed that up. I've seen guys that have messed that up and blew an opportunity. Who was the oh God, I loved him too. Who the Sun center? His mother was like the chief of police for Phoenix.
Oh,
Alan Williams.
Alan Williams.
Alan Williams.
I think that was Alan Williams.
I think so. Like he had a good offer on the table from the Suns. He had a good offer to make like $5 million a year. And they turned it down, thinking they could get more, and that he didn't play well, and then he had to go play overseas for a number of years. But he had a good 2-year offer on the table. So you're never supposed to turn down your first big contract, because that's the one that gives you all of that, that generational wealth that everybody wants.
Yeah, so Justin Martinez locked up now. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean he's the closer. But it certainly I think means they think he will be eventually. And I think we mostly all think that anyway. Like, we didn't need this contract to confirm that. But I do think it reflects internally their belief that whether it takes a week or a month or a couple of months or who knows, maybe even another year, the fact that they want to make sure he's around and that he's not going anywhere and that he's locked up and they've got cost control on him, I think is a reflection that internally they must really believe he will eventually be our closer, and we want to make sure financially we have him locked up.
I want to say something else, because there's a lot of people looking at the Garrett Hampson exercising his opt-out clause from the Diamondbacks.
Yep.
This is only procedural. This does not mean that Hampson is very much in the running to become the utility infielder for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's still in competition with Ildemaro Vargas. But a lot of people looked at him exercising his opt-out, feeling, okay, he's opting out. He's not going to be here anymore. He's going to hit free agency because he wasn't going to make the roster. It doesn't mean anything. It does not mean anything. It was procedural. He had to exercise this option, okay? The Diamondbacks have not made a decision on who the utility infielder is, but he had to exercise this option. That way the Diamondbacks couldn't just send him to Reno.
Yeah.
If he didn't exercise this option, the Diamondbacks should send him to Reno and be like, oh, we're great. But because he exercised this option, if he doesn't make the roster, he could be a free agent. But he is very much still in the running to be the utility infielder for the Diamondbacks.
It's one of the few decisions left for Torey Lovullo, to be honest with you. That last player on the bench, whether it's going to be Vargas or Hampson, whether it's the fifth starter spot, the last couple of spots in the bullpen, there aren't a lot of decisions left, but that is one of them. And it certainly appeared to outsiders that when he had that opt-out and he exercised the opt-out, that it looked like from the surface that Vargas was going to get the job, but Gambo's saying that's not necessarily the case.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.